welcome to the DR Sports Transfer Show, where we're going to be covering the latest news, rumours and everything else from the football world. Is your club going to get an Ornstein bomb? How many here we goes are we going to hear from Fabrizio Romano this January? Make sure to stay tuned every weekday for all the latest football news here on DR Sports. Yes, people, welcome back to DR Sports. Welcome back to your transfer breakdown every day, every weekday on DR Sports. My name's Dylan. I'm here to give you all of the latest transfer news surrounding the Premier League and beyond. And today, I've got to tell you, there is a lot. There is a lot coming out about Arsenal, City, United, Liverpool, stuff about Van der Ven, Konate, Chelsea's pursuit of Jach. Like, there's so much to get through, and I'm going to try and do it in all under 10 minutes. But we're going to start off with Marc Guéhi. So Man City announced the signing of Marc Guéhi for £20 million plus wages of up to £300,000 a week if all bonuses are met for the end of the season on a 5.5-year contract. He is now the second highest paid defender in the Premier League, which might be a bit much. Let me know in the comments if you think that's a little bit too much cash or not for Marc Guéhi. But now that Guéhi and Semenyo have been signed, the Athletic have said that Man City are not expecting any other first-team additions this month. However, Oscar Bob could leave because he wants to leave, and a deal could be sealed for him to leave by the end of the week. So there's not much going on left. An incomings in Man City, but outgoings, Oscar Bob could leave. And meanwhile, sticking with outgoings and heading towards Arsenal, according to David Ornstein, Marseille are working on a deal to sign Ethan Nwaneri on loan for the rest of the season. Nothing is agreed yet, but any agreement would include a fee that is changeable depending on appearances with no option to buy. So no option for him to leave permanently, but a loan deal possibly to Marseille for the end of the season. De Zerbi has held positive talks with both Arteta and the player, with the Italian in his style of play a prominent factor in Marseille being favoured by Arsenal. A decision from the player is expected shortly. So expect possibly today, possibly in the next few days, it feels almost certainly by the end of the week, a decision from Ethan himself will be made. As further detailed by Gunnerblog, at the time Ethan Nwaneri signed a new long-term deal for Arsenal in August, Arsenal were not expecting to proceed with a deal for Eze. But obviously, the decision to sign Eze was sparked by Kai Havertz's injury against Man United, first day of the season, and it had a direct impact on Ethan's playing time. Arteta remains a huge believer in Ethan Nwaneri's talent, with one issue being opportunity. There's a lack of opportunity. So for Arsenal, a loan would arguably be a win-win. Ideally, with the player developing and returning for them ready to challenge for a place. That's the goal of everybody involved. So that seems like a deal that could happen. It all seems to be hinging on Ethan's decision himself. So do wait for news towards, this week, maybe towards the end of the week, on a final decision from the player. But looks like if he says yes, Arsenal are happy to see him go off to Marseille. Now, sticking with Arsenal, there's also been some interesting updates on Gabriel Jesus. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus has come back from injury, yet another injury, a knee problem that he's had. He's back, he's ready, he's scoring a couple goals, he's coming off the bench, having some minutes here and there. But apparently, according to Daily Mail, Gabriel Jesus is wanted by Palmeiras. The 28-year-old has recovered from a long-term injury, but is out of contract in 2027 and could return to Brazil. But very interestingly, Gabriel Jesus has come out in the last few days publicly saying that he wants to stay at Arsenal. So he says, quote, this is a word-for-word quote, "My wish is to stay at Arsenal. I have a contract as well. I want to extend my contract. I want to stay. I want to win trophies with Arsenal because I came here with a purpose and that's it." So, although Gabriel Jesus obviously is not first choice in the pecking order at striker, Victor Gyökeres has started most games. Kai Havertz is coming out from injury, and we all know how much Mikel Arteta likes Kai Havertz. Jesus might find himself third choice striker, but he wants to stay at Arsenal. Obviously, his contract isn't up this season, but it's up next season. So Arsenal may decide that this summer window is the only one where they can get any sort of fee for him. But he wants to stay, he wants to fight, so that will probably be taken into consideration when the team, obviously when the player and the club sit down, because they will sit down and they will talk probably towards the end of the season or in the summer before he goes to the World Cup, maybe even after the World Cup. Because obviously Brazil need a striker. Jesus, if he's on form, he will be considered for the Brazilian squad. But that's one to keep an eye on, because Jesus says he wants to stay, but he looks like he might leave to Brazil. Probably not this month, but possibly in the summer. And then with Arsenal as well, according to Dutch reporter Mike Verweij, sorry if I've absolutely butchered his name, Ajax are now in talks with Arsenal regarding a permanent transfer for Alexander Zinchenko, despite an early agreement for a loan fee. So Zinchenko was on loan at Nottingham Forest. That looks like it's being cancelled, with Ajax now, wanting to take him on until the summer. But Ajax are apparently reportedly saying that rather it just being a loan, with Zinchenko then being a free agent and someone to go wherever he likes, they want him for longer. So they're talking to Arsenal about a possible permanent transfer this month, which is great for Arsenal because they also get a transfer fee and his wages off the books. According to the report, the player's medical has been delayed, although the expectation is agreement will be reached. So Arsenal could be getting some form, unexpected little bit of a loan, not loan boost, a little bit of a cash boost here. Won't be lots of money. It won't be lots of money because Zinchenko is leaving. He's a free agent in the summer and his wages of 150 grand a week will obviously have to be covered and decided by Ajax. So I don't know how much cash this would be. Obviously, no one knows yet, but do keep an eye out for the potential for Zinchenko to be signing for Ajax permanently, not just on loan. Now, I want to move on to Liverpool for a bit because there's been some interesting news coming out of Liverpool in the last couple of days where, although The Athletic this morning has said that there are no incomings expected this month and no senior player is at risk of leaving either, according to other reports in England, this is multiple other reports, saying that Liverpool and Ibrahim Konate, obviously second choice centre-back behind Van Dijk, remain some way apart over a new contract. The France international, obviously, he's 26 years old. Real Madrid were interested in him, but earlier on this season, they informed Liverpool that they have no desire to sign him this summer as a free agent. The France international is in his fifth season at Anfield and believes he should be one of the best paid defenders in the Premier League, which is possibly a bit of an interesting take from him because he was fantastic last season. He's been great for Liverpool alongside Van Dijk for a few years, but this season he's been poor. He's part of the reason, so his inconsistent defending is part of the reason why Liverpool did go through that run where they just lost every single game in the Premier League and every single domestic game. He was great against Real Madrid in the Champions League, but they obviously decided they don't want to sign him anymore. 26 years old. If he wants to be one of the best played defenders in the Premier League, Van Dijk is currently the best paid defender in the Premier League, with Mark Gay now second, and there are a few players on 250-ish grand a week, like Reece James and co. And then you've got like Harry Maguire and co, and Matthias de Ligt from United on around about £200,000 a week. It's an interesting because it says in the report, they remain some ways apart. But Liverpool fans, if you're listening, let me know, how much do you want to see Konate stay? Would you be happy to see him go? Or how much would you be willing to see him be on? I'm not sure what his current wages are, but if Liverpool and him are currently quite far away apart, this might end sourly. And to add to this, it's been reported by Team Talk that Liverpool could move to replace Konate with Spurs defender Mickey van der Ven this summer. Mickey van der Ven has been linked with Liverpool a lot. Reports previously have suggested that he wants to sign for Liverpool. That would be, if he was to leave Spurs this summer, that's where he would want to go. And obviously, when he's fit, when he's not injured, he's a fantastic defender. You can play at centre-back and also at the Dutch national team. He plays at left-back, so he's versatile. He's quick, he's strong, he knows the Premier League. Liverpool may see it as, rather than handing Konate a bigger contract, they would probably be able to hand Van der Ven a lower salary while also paying a transfer fee to Tottenham. But he reportedly wants to be. Obviously, we all know that he came out and publicly did an apology after breaking Alexander Isak's leg when the two teams played late last year. So he clearly wants to go to Liverpool. He clearly wants to be on side with Liverpool fans. But Real Madrid are also reportedly paying attention to Van der Ven's future. So Real Madrid and Liverpool continue this consistent transfer battle that's been going on for years and years and years. But do keep an eye on Konate's possible new contract, or possibly no new contract, and Mickey van der Ven possibly going towards Liverpool in the summer. Not this month, but in the summer. And then on Manchester United news, Athletic have confirmed that Ajax have made an inquiry for a loan deal for Manu Ugarte, but at this stage, a deal is considered unlikely. They've been looking for a loan, but United have so far rejected their proposal. However, Give Me Sport have claimed that Manchester United are keeping tabs on 21-year-old Sunderland midfielder Noah Sadiki, who's been great this season, and could offer Ugarte in a swap deal for the DR Congo international. Maybe I say we, obviously I'm a Manchester United fan, you can see here the badge. Maybe we'd be interested in him in the summer, Sadiki, because obviously we need new midfielders. It's Manchester United are in desperate need of new midfielders. Casemiro's contract runs out. Ugarte probably going in the summer. Bruno Fernandes' future is obviously up in the air. Kobbie Mainoo, according to Fabrizio Romano, has decided he wants to stay at the club. Obviously, he wanted to go on loan in this month with Ruben Amorim in charge, but he wants to stay. He wants to fight. He wants to try and get the England squad. So Mainoo probably staying at Manchester United. But three other midfielders, their situation's all up in the air. But I somehow doubt that we'd offer Ugarte in a swap deal for him this month. Maybe in the summer, but not this month. And then finally, just moving on to Chelsea before we end up here, is according to The Athletic, Chelsea hope they'll be able to finalise a deal for Jeremy Jach this week. As we covered yesterday in Monday's show, Jach wants to move to Chelsea. He wants to do it this month. He's informed the club. He's informed his club Rennes that he wants to go, but Rennes want a record sale. They want to be able to sell him for more than the £55 million they sold Jeremy Doku to Man City for a few seasons ago in 2023. They want possibly upwards of £60 million for the French centre-back. However, Rennes coach Habib Bey has openly said he believes the player is an important part of the side's objectives, and he doesn't want to lower these objectives. He stressed that Jach is a very key player and one of their best players, so wants to resist any chance of the Frenchman leaving this month, although he also admitted it's not in his control. If they get a club record bid from Chelsea, odds are they're going to want to sign him. Jach has already agreed personal terms with Chelsea. He wants to move to London club this month. Do you think this one will go through? But there could be a big fee involved to make sure that, you know, the club Rennes get their money, Chelsea get their man, the player gets their move. Do keep an eye on that one before the end of this week. But apart from that, that is it. That is what's been happening in the last 24 hours in the transfer window, all covered here on DR Sports. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about all the different deals in the comments. Liverpool fans, let me know about Konate, about Van de Ven. United fans, what about Ugarte? Chelsea fans, let me know about Jach. Arsenal fans, is Marseille for Ethan Nwaneri the best move for him? Let me know in the comments. Apart from that, I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.